Hi, welcome to Polyphonic Press. I'm Jeremy Boyd, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new album by Pearl Jam entitled Lightning Bolt. Here we go. So Pearl Jam are an American rock band formed in Seattle, Washington in 1990. They formed after the dissolution of Mother Love Bone, which featured Jeff Ament and Stone Gossard. The two of them teamed up with Eddie Vedder and formed Pearl Jam and released their debut album 10 in 1991. The album stood out from other alternative bands at the time as the guitar playing kind of had a more blues-oriented approach. Since then, the band has consistently released albums, achieving both critical and commercial success. This is their 10th studio album and it's called Lightning Bolt. This album starts off with the song Getaway, which is a pretty fast-paced rock and roll song. It starts off with a bit of a slow build and has a very fast-paced rhythm when the verses kick in. It's a pretty good opening track for the album because it kind of sets you up for the mood of the album, kind of gets you engaged and gets you really locked into it. It's a pretty lively, exciting, and energetic track, so it really does its job. I think this is a really good rock and roll song. It just kind of hits you where you need to be hit and just kind of takes you on this kind of journey and sets you up for the album. One thing I really liked about this song is towards the end, the lead guitar is playing this kind of sustaining sort of note that really builds up into a climax before the song ends. I thought that was really effective and it really sounded really cool, to be honest. The first single from the album is the song Mind Your Manners, and really the opening riff to the song sounds like the soundtrack to a chase scene in a movie. In fact, the whole song kind of has that sort of feel. It's a pretty short song, clocking in at only about 2.5 minutes. It just kind of gets in there, gets to the point, and gets out. It doesn't really stick around or anything like that. It's very short, effective, and punchy. Just says what it needs to say and then it's off to the next song. I thought it was a pretty decent choice for a first single because I think it really represents the album pretty well, and if this is your first sort of introduction to the album, it's pretty good glimpse into the rest of the record. I especially like the guitar solo on this song because it just kind of goes in these short sort of bursts, and I thought that sounded really cool, and it was really something different and kind of unexpected, but it really fit in well with the rest of the song. The title track, Lightning Bolt, is definitely more of a mid-tempo kind of rock song. It definitely has a more anthemic kind of quality to it and slides the album into sort of a different direction. The song kind of goes through a handful of different sort of movements or sections, and giving it a really sort of operatic feel. It really felt like something from like Tommy or something like that. Especially the guitar work sounded very reminiscent of The Who, which I know is a definite influence on this band. I like this song and I think it really works well, and it's a really good example of a band knowing their strengths and playing to that and just really feeling each other. You can tell that they kind of sort of planned everything out but didn't really plan too much. It feels very loose and natural. I think it might be a good choice for a single because although it does have a lot of things and different sections to it, I think even people who aren't really fans of the band, just kind of casual music fans, can really get into this song. The song Swallowed Whole is more of an acoustic driven song where the guitar interplay is really well done. The rhythm is done on the acoustic guitar, but there's this melody that's playing over top of it with the electric guitar, and I really think that that combination works well with this song. This song isn't a ballad by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely has a more mellow feel to it. Towards the middle of the song, during the little breakdown, the organ is really playing these really beautiful chords, almost as if it's kind of off in the distance, and just kind of complements the two guitars. It's a little busy, but it really sounds really nice and very beautiful and just kind of gives you this wall of sound that comes over you. And that was probably my favorite part of the song, just the instruments kind of playing with each other, and it really sounded very beautiful. Getting back into the more rock mode of the album, the song Let the Records Play definitely has a more bluesy kind of influence on it. It starts off with this slide guitar, and the main kind of hook is this bluesy sort of shuffle on the drums. This may be viewed as a kind of a throwaway track to some, but I think it's a really good solid track in the context of the album because it's just a fun song, and a lot of these songs are very heavy lyrically, and so to sort of put something in that's a little more light and a little more fun just is really effective and kind of lightening the mood a little bit. So maybe if you were to listen to this song on its own, it's just kind of a mindless sort of throwaway rock track, but put it into the context of the album, it's really more of an effective tool than anything else. It's really kind of lightening the mood and sort of cutting the tension. And the album ends with the song Future Days, which is more of a piano piano ballad kind of thing. And as the title kind of hints, it's more looking into the future, kind of acknowledging your past mistakes, but sort of looking for forgiveness and looking towards the future and how you can plan to be a better person. So it's a very relatable song on that level. I think it really ends the album pretty nicely. It kind of really wraps up the story, kind of like how a movie ends with a tight story. I really think it's an effective way to wrap up the album, and it leaves you kind of satisfied with everything that has happened. There's really not much else I can say about it other than it's probably one of the strongest songs on the album. The production on this album is pretty solid. It's not going for the super raw or the super glossy. It really kind of sits in the sweet spot in the middle, and I think it's really a testament to the professionalism of this band, and really, you know, they're not going for the huge production, but they know what they're doing. I think this album is definitely a step up from their previous effort, Backspacer, which is a good album, but it wasn't their strongest work. I think this is definitely a step in the right direction for the band. It's kind of all over the place stylistically, but I think that kind of works when you listen to the album from start to finish. The album really does flow pretty nicely. There's really not much bad I can say about it, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. So anyway, that's what I thought about the album. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you'd like to suggest an album for me to review, please leave that in the comments as well. Don't forget to check me out on Twitter and Facebook, Last.fm, as well as the podcast. All the links are in the description. And I guess that's about it. Till next time, take it easy.